my beautiful people? It's your boy Don Drago, and welcome to another episode of the Hustle Coast podcast. And today I'm joined by a truly gifted melodic artist, singer, and songwriter whose voice and style has been resonating with listeners everywhere. I introduce to you Abeck.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. I thank you so much for coming on the show today, man. I'm super happy to have you on.
I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, like I said, it's been in the making for a minute, so here we are.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. You know, me and you, we got a song together that's coming that we haven't put out yet, but it's coming in May. So we have been in contact. And obviously, when I first moved, I honestly knew about you before I even moved to Orlando area. But we kind of connected once I got out here, man. I saw that you were one of the heavy hitters out here doing your thing, and I definitely wanted to get with you, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, bro. It's a lot of work, man. But yeah, when I seen you hit me up, I checked out your stuff. I'm like, okay, he understands it. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure, dog. And not to make it about this in the beginning, but we do got some heat coming, I would say.
Oh, for sure, bro. I love that record too, man.
It is, man. It's crazy. All right, and we'll talk about that. But before that, I want to jump into your story. So I want to talk about, where were you born, where you from, your childhood, all that.
Yeah, so I'm a super rarity, man. I was born and raised here in Orlando. Unlike everybody else that just flocks here and takes over my land. Nah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was born and raised here, man. I moved around a little bit to like the coast and then back here in Atlanta for a year and then back here. So it's just home, bro. It'll always be home.
Yeah, for sure, man. Okay, cool. And then, so for you, as you were, raised up here, did you have a big family, small family? Do you have siblings?
I mean, it's moderate, I would say. I got two older brothers, a younger sister, so I land in the middle of all that chaos. So I'm a middle child, locked in my
Nice.
room growing up forever. I mean, mom and pops, couple cousins, couple aunts and uncles. Pretty much your
Nice.
standard family, bro. You know what I mean? Like nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Typical white people, bro.
Nice, man. Nice. Absolutely. It's funny because I'm also a middle child. I'm one of five. I have uh two older brothers, an older sister, and a younger sister. So I'm the second to last, right in the middle there, the youngest. And you're right, man. We kind of get overlooked sometimes.
Every time, bro. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the oldest, my oldest brother, he was like kind of out the house, when I was even young. So like I really just grew up with my older brother and my sister, so right in the middle of it all.
Nice, man, for sure. And as you were growing up, like, what kind of kid were you? Did you always love music, even when you were a kid? Did you play sports?
Yeah, I mean, I played baseball for 11 years. I
Oh,
was an
wow.
all-star. I was pretty fire, not gonna lie.
Damn, dog. That's
But
what's up.
I had tendonitis in my throwing arm, so that started at like 12, and that was the end of those days for me because I wasn't about to, have surgery at 12. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then that's kind of when I picked up the music. Like, I always, my pops, he was a trumpet player, so
Mm.
growing up in his car, my parents are separated, so like growing up in his car, it was like, you're listening to Phil Collins, Michael Jackson, like the Beach Boys, all the shit that's not cool to listen to on the way to school is
Yeah.
what I grew up listening to in his car. And then like my mom's side, she let us listen to hip hop, but she's more of like a country fan. So I just had a whole mix of things growing up, and yeah, I picked up music around 12 years old in middle school. So ever since then, it's just been the love.
That's epic, man. I know that um I know that a lot of the best artists that I've been around, they are literally engulfed in just different styles of music, bro. So when you tell me that and that started for you at 12 and you were getting all of those different types of music into your brain, that obviously did something to you, bro, where you're warped now, where you got those melodies, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy because like I always say, I don't know how old you are, but like our generation, I'm assuming you're close to me. Our generation, we had like the best time frame of music growing up because like when we were in middle school is when like the T Pains came out. You know, Lil Wayne was like really catching on fire. You had all these like dope hip hop records coming out with Plies and all this shit,
Yeah.
right? But then you also had like the Fallout Boys and
Yep.
you know, and you still some of the Green Day and like the punk stuff. Like we had
Yeah.
all of that into one, so
We
it
did.
was like
And
a
people
crazy mix of, and everybody liked everything at the time.
for
There was
real.
nobody who was just like I'm only hip hop. No, it was like, bro, I love that Fallout Boy song or that Panic at the Disco record. You know what I mean? So
Yo,
I think
straight
we
up,
had the
man.
best time, bro. So
We
that's
definitely did.
I really just got lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And even people like other than, cuz people are always talking about the 90s and stuff, which the 90s was, great, obviously, but the early 2000s, man, the pop and stuff that we got in the early 2000s, dog, was it
As
changed the
kids,
game.
bro.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
As kids, like
Yeah.
man, there it wasn't hitting like that, dog. The
Nah.
2000s on, man. Shit on the 90s, if you ask me, bro.
Me too, dog, but that's got to be our generation talking cuz some, older heads would be like, "Nah, bro, y'all whack."
No,
Man, that's funny.
yeah, bro. Nah, man. Even though R&B was better, I think. I mean, 90s R&B was cool, but bro, you gonna tell me like T Pain
Bro,
wasn't slinging fire, dude, or like even Fabulous and those guys? Like, come on, bro.
straight
It's a
up,
different
man.
combo.
That's facts, bro. So, so obviously we're gotten into that. So you started right around 12. You started very early. Did you start writing first, or did you really just start like listening to music 24/7?
So I started writing as everyone does in a little journal, you know what I mean, at school. And then, excuse me, by the way. Um, and then I had an MP3 player that had a recorder on the back of the MP3 player, so like you could talk into it. So then I went home and that's when I discovered you can get instrumentals on LimeWire and stuff like that. So I would download the instrumental and write to the instrumental all day on my MP3 player. Then I would come home from school and I would play the instrumental from the computer speakers and record the rap one take on my notebook and record the whole record one take. So like I don't know if you remember when like Rick Ross Here I Am came out.
Yep.
So like I found the instrumental with the hook and I just did every verse and it was all one take. Then the hook would come back, I'd take a break, boom, go right back in. So then I would upload that onto my computer and then put it on MySpace.
Oh,
So it was terrible
MySpace.
quality, but it was
Right.
like for me, I had to record music. So like whatever way we're gonna get this done is how we're gonna get this done.
Damn, man. That's what's up. So you started recording early, bro.
Oh, for it, bro. I had to get like those. I had to see what this was, bro. Like I remember
Yeah.
buying like an Audacity pack, and it came with like a little desk microphone and stuff, and I started recording that. Then I met my boy Nakori. Um, he had Pro Tools because his uncle was a island artist and was like shopping records around. So I would go to Nakori's crib, and we had auto tune at the time too. So like we were lit, bro. We were recording in Pro Tools with auto tune in like eighth grade.
Damn, dude. That's what's up.
Like we were ready for the world, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I didn't get on auto tune until late, dog, for real. So that's crazy though, man, that you were on that in 8th grade, bro. That's that's probably how you learn, not to take anything away from your God-given ability, but that's also probably how you started training your voice that early too, right?
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
I've never been a singer or anything like that, but you know, when you sing for that long on auto tune, you're obviously gonna start learning how to sing. So
Yeah.
I say probably in like 2014 is when I really started getting better at everything, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I could really do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely a blessing to start off that way.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. So, can you remember the first time that you really realized that your voice had the power to move people?
Man, honestly, bro, it probably wasn't until like 2018. So I had probably been making music already for 10 years at that point.
Mm.
And 2018, I put out an EP, and it was called While You're Away. It was a 5 song EP. And I remember I put this out, and I had started buzzing a little bit locally. But I remember a soccer player for Orlando City had hit me up. He was like, "Bro, that first record on the EP is nuts." And I'm like, "Whoa, what?" And then I started seeing people like, they pull up to the show singing the songs off of that EP, and I was like, "Bro, wait,
What?
we're actually cooking right now, bro." You know what I mean? So,
Right.
and then I think I don't want to like jump ahead in the story because you might ask
Yeah.
me more questions, but like
Yeah.
for sure that was the moment that I realized like, okay, I'm actually pretty good. And
Yeah.
like my brother he was pushing it heavy. Like I had a team around me, you know what I mean? I think it
Mm.
hit like 70,000 streams on Pandora
Oh
in like the
wow.
second month of that EP, and I was like, "Whoa, man, we're doing it, dude!" Like it's no looking back.
That's huge, man.
It was nuts.
And
Honestly, I didn't
and Pandora
understand
is
it.
legit.
That was a paycheck, bro.
Yeah. I can imagine. So that's what's
So
up.
yeah, that's
So from there then, so you drop that EP and actually I hope we're not skipping too much. So it that EP goes out 2018. It starts popping, you start gaining traction. So then from there, what do you do next?
this is where the whole story gets a little sticky. So from there, um, we had a homeboy that was recording at a studio. He's like, "Bro, we had shot a music video." He's like, "Bro, pull up to the studio after he seen my video." And my brother had made the link up, and so we ended up going to the studio, and met a guy named July, the producer, who was engineering.
Mm,
Well, July was like pretty lit, and I had no clue at the time, but like he was doing stuff for Rob Campman,
mm.
who was like a part of Smiles and Southstar, who blew up out of Orlando. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow.
So then, like, I do my first session, and July's brother, who manages him there, was there, Ron. Well, Ron knew Rob personally, so he was like, "Wait a minute, who is this dude?" And then, Ron was like, "Well, send me your records." So then, I was in the studio every week with these guys. Like, that was our Friday night, paying them whatever we need to do. So
Wow.
then, the next week I came in, and Ron was like, "Hey, you ever heard of Smiles and Southside?" And I'm like, "Of course, they blew up out of my city."
Yeah.
Probably the only ones that blow up out of my city at this point. Like, yeah, bro, this guy's really messing with me. I'm like, whoa, bro, what? So then he's like, yeah, he
Wow.
wants to do a record with you. I'm like, okay, cool. So end up meeting Rob, and he comes down from Jacksonville to the studio, and I mean, it's all happening like really quick, dude. So then Rob pretty much takes me under his wing, takes me like on the road with him and shows me how to, be a professional, perform. This is how you record. And there was like things I was doing at that time, like, rappy shit and talking about like, trap music. And he was like, "Oh, that's probably not a good idea. You probably like should do this." And I'm like, "You're probably right. So let's do that." I
Yeah.
do that better anyways. So he kind of like helped shape that. And then, then came down to it. Rob brought me to my first record deal.
Mm.
So then I had signed like within a year of all of this madness.
What?
Yeah, bro, it was nuts. And then that is a story that's not successful, but we could tap into it if you like.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about it. So when you did get signed, how was that experience? Do you feel like was it did it measure up to some of the hype? Did you feel like the team maybe the label that signed you, maybe they didn't do what they said? How did that experience go?
I mean, for me, it was like I was extremely nervous about everything. So like, but I was hyped too. So, we meet the dude we go to the dude's house, bro. And
Okay.
like we're playing records, and he's sitting there in the studio at his crib listening to my songs, and it's just like it's me, my brother, Rob, this other dude, DeCarlos, who was a part of my management team at the time, and the guy that runs this record label. And I'm like, dude, I just came off the street, bro, into here. And
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. So boom, that was like a Saturday night. And then next week he's like, "Oh, we're going to Miami." So then they take me down to Miami and go to the studio. We got a studio all weekend. I'm like, "This is lit, bro." Well, get in there and I'm working with a songwriter. Her name's Angela Hunt. She wrote The Empire State of Mind. So
What?
like yeah, bro, I'm like this pyramid, like I started down here and now here I am within a fucking week of all of this, dude. I hadn't even signed yet. So
Damn.
we get there and the crazy part for me was like now learning how to professionally record. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because
Yep.
like when I record at home or at the studio, it's like quick, boom, 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 let's do
Right.
this, you know. And that's how I am now, but still it was like learning the process of working with a songwriter. I never worked with a songwriter. I always did my own stuff. So I'm like,
Right.
but yeah, we got down there, cut some records, they loved it. And then it was like time to sign in a week after that. And I'm like, dude, this all happened in 3 weeks, bro. And then,
Damn.
for me, I don't know if I was prepared yet
Yep.
because I knew I was really good, but like the thing they don't tell you whenever you get to where you're going is like when you get there, you got to be the leader of the team.
Right.
Like you think everybody's just gonna be doing their own job, and that's not how it works. They're just waiting on you. You know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
I cut 150 records in a year,
Oh
and
my gosh.
it was like, well, what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I thought y'all know what we were doing.
Right.
And then, they only like 10 records out of the 150. And then it's like push and pull. You're getting told that you're trash now. You know what I
Right.
mean? And now you're just like, it's a mental battle, bro. It really is. So
Yeah.
after a little while, I just decided to move on to my own, and everybody shook hands and parted ways. There was no hate or nothing,
Yeah.
but it was definitely an experience, bro.
Yeah, bro. That sounds like a crazy experience, and I can imagine that, like, just being in that and having those experiences, man. Like, I can imagine how I would have felt, and I would have been like nervous, but like you said, excited. But like nobody probably told you that. Yeah, you got to keep these people in line and like run it like a business off jump. You know?
Right. I'm 22 at the time or something, bro. And I
Right.
just had my first kid. Like it's
That's awesome.
the whole world is like on me right now, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm being a first time dad. Like he was like
Wow.
3 months old when I went to Miami. It was nuts, bro. It was
That's crazy.
absolute chaos, dude. So
For
it was a
sure.
lot to handle, but I think it built who I am now.
Yeah, and that was my next question. Do you feel like you learned a lot from that? It helped you grow a lot?
For sure, and it's all about like, they always tell you, well, it's always how you handle
Right.
the loss to make it not a loss. And it's like, for me, it was never a loss. It was just a massive learning experience. Like
Hell yeah.
now I can, I've walked into meetings with labels and I'm like, well, probably a bad idea. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
like that self-belief that you have mixed in with your experience of understanding, okay, you guys are gonna give me 100,000, but like, what are we gonna do with this? And what can you
Right.
do with this?
Right.
And then, now I can construct my team. I got a team of producers, I got a DJ, I got an audio engineer, I got all of these things that I didn't have when I was on the label that made it very difficult for me to operate because now I'm just waiting for them to send me beats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than taking in charge and being like, yo, I'm recording today. This is 4 records. Boom. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I definitely understand how to operate now as an individual artist and as a team because there's a lot of people that count on me now too, So it
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
built a leader out of me.
Yeah, for sure, man. And this podcast is all about hustlers, go-getters, high achievers, leadership, and grinding, bro. So I couldn't have thought of a better person to have on, man, and that's sick to hear. Let me ask you this. Having a team, do you think that having the right team can make or break an artist?
Absolutely. I mean, I see it all the time where it's like, you know, guys will be getting a buzz and this guy's their manager, but he has no idea about anything. Or
Mm-hmm.
like this producer like sampled a freaking Michael Jackson beat that we're never gonna clear. Like these are things that people need to be on. If they're on your team, they need to understand these things and how to operate. So like, if you have a crap team, bro, you're only gonna get so far, or you're gonna get really lucky and then fall off. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. For
So
sure.
that it's
100%.
definitely, it takes a village to raise an artist, is what I say.
Yeah, 100%. I've found that probably most of the most successful artists that I've met and talked to and whatnot, they definitely did all have a supporting cast and a good team around them. 100%.
Right. Yeah, something that I didn't think about, and I actually had this happen to me about a year ago, was I was saying something online about somebody, and I didn't realize that I was putting everyone that was, you know, starred next to my name in a situation where, like, okay, well, now they can't work with them. And I said, oh shit, well, now you got to know how to lead your team and things like that. So I'm still learning, bro. I'm still learning, but
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, for
definitely, it
sure.
definitely takes both sides.
100%, man. So, walk us through your songwriting process. Do you do melodies first, lyrics first? How do you do it?
All melodies. And honestly, I don't think about music until like I'm about to record. Like I would much rather create exactly in the spot. Um, and really beat selection is everything to me. So like, if we sit here and you play three, four beats, and if I don't come up with a melody instantly, then it's useless to me because now I'm gonna force write this. It should all come from the melody in my theory, and that's really for me is everything. So melody first, I'll do like a melody take of like the verse into the hook, and then I'm like, boom, okay, let's write that now, and that'll take me a couple minutes as we, you know, I'm more of like a punch in than a writer.
Yeah.
So like I know what I meant to say on these lines, so I say it, and then we just keep going piece by piece.
Nice, nice. When you are recording, because I know that when we did our feature, you sent me a one take, dude, which I definitely appreciated. But how do you normally track out your recording?
Yeah, so like I try to do main and then ad libs, left and right, and try to
Yep.
label them, things like that. But it's always main on top for me, and then
Yeah.
you know that'll be stacked, and then the chorus will be stacked here, and then back to the verse stack, chorus, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Try to keep
That's
I
kind of
try to keep it clean, man.
Yeah, no, you definitely do, bro. And that's how I do it too. I do a main. Sometimes I got to be honest. Sometimes I do two main just cuz sometimes like when I hear myself one time and I do that second one, I feel like it'll come out like almost a little bit stronger. And then I'll do like a highlight where I hit all the ends, with like a different melody or and then I'll do an ad lib. So I normally would do like 3 or 4, but I know a lot of people who do, like 2 or 3 and it still sounds dope. So,
Yeah, see, I'm like an imperfectionist. Like I hate when and that's kind of something in the rap game. That's why I'm not a rapper. I always say because like
yeah.
you have to be like so perfect in your timing and your pronunciation. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I'm the worst at that. I can barely speak English half the time. You want me to like
Right.
pronunciate these things and like doubles and all this? Man, no, we're not doing that. Like
Yeah.
I'm completely okay with like my voice being a melody rather than like a freaking punchline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I noticed that about your songs that like your melodies obviously are like so dope and crazy, but I know that sometimes like the way that you do pronounce words is a little bit different.
Right,
But that's
yeah.
cool.
And
That's your style.
that's basically just off of like the creation of it. So it's like
Yeah.
whatever, judge me now or hate me later, it don't matter.
Yeah. And people get the gist of it, obviously, like you said, because your voice is like an instrument anyway.
Right.
You
So
know what I
that's
mean?
that's
So
the goal.
yeah, man, that's what's up. All right, cool. So what are some of your favorite features that you've done?
Man, I'm pretty buzzing like as far as like that I've gotten or that I've done personally.
You could take that either way. Like some of the favorite
Okay.
songs that you jumped on, or some of the ones you've had done for you.
Right. So I mean, my biggest record, bro. I went and got a feature by Ayaz, and that's like,
What?
that's a massive record right now. It still is every day. So
Wow,
that'll always be close to my heart. Um, I just released one with a dude named Papa Duck, who's a Florida legend,
bro.
and that's a massive one for me. That's the big bro. So like, for me, is like getting these features is more so like for my inner child or like my love of it. It's not for like what can they do for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like those two are massive. I really enjoy ours because you approached me with something different.
Yes, sir.
So that's always dope to me too. Like if people come for a rap verse from me, it's like, I mean, you didn't even study me. You know what I mean? But like you
Yeah.
sent stuff that's right in my wheelhouse, so that was dope. And then lastly, I really enjoy like I said, going out of my box on features. So like I just did like a dance record with a guy named Droid and my boy Dev, and
Mm,
like that was really dope for me. Even though I just did the hook, it was like super dope,
yeah.
outside the box because I'm building a profile of all the things that I can do. It's
Right.
like a metadata of a resume. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So those things are dope as hell to me.
Yo, and big shout out to that song that you got, Get It Going, bro. I was listening to that before we got on stream here, and yo, that song slaps, dog.
Man, I appreciate it, bro. That's for
Yeah.
sure like a Florida vibe, bro. And I went and got
Yeah.
one of the Florida goats on it, so it meant
Yeah,
a lot
man.
to me. Yeah.
For sure. That's dope. Let me ask you, are there any other artists other than yourself in or around Orlando that you really see doing their thing or you see rising up or that you just want to shout out because you've seen them putting in work?
Yeah, I mean, I want to speak correctly here because it's really difficult for me in the city because like I'll see something dope, but then like you see them as a person and you're like, well, you're just not very dope as a person, so I don't care. But I think for me, like I'm fans of a dude named Click Clack. I think he's dope and I think he can do something really big. Um, my guy Julio SVN, he's a younger artist that I'm kind of bringing under my wing right now, and I think he's really fire. He has no idea how good he is.
Wow.
Um,
Shout out.
Man, in the city is tough though. You know what I mean? Are you technically Orlando guy? I mean,
So I'm a Tampa guy, bro. I was born in
right.
Clearwater, Florida. I was all raised in Tampa, but I've always kind of known a little bit about Orlando, but I just moved to Orlando this past year. So I'm kind of getting acclimated to what's going on here.
We'll throw you in the box then. So yeah, we'll throw Don Drago in there.
Yes, sir.
These are just people that I would listen to. You know what I mean? Too. Like
Right.
I don't listen to a lot of rap stuff or anything like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that three is pretty solid as far as the city.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I'm the same way, man. Obviously growing up, I listened to a lot of hip hop and I still listen to a good amount of hip hop. But I feel like as I've gotten older, I listen to more pop, more, more this, more EDM, more that. And also like for me, when I was coming up, I was a I was a writer, which I still am, a writer first. But I was just a rapper who eventually, because I was hanging around singers so much, kind of started learning how to use auto tune a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But my pen game has always been right, and I've been writing for singers since I was probably 12 or 13. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
but it's funny you say that though, for sure. So,
yeah, it's definitely like I'll go to the club and I don't know none of this shit we're playing, dude. Like the
yeah,
only rap stuff I listen to is like Lil Tecca, Kevin Gates,
yep.
old Travis Scott. Probably it, man. I'm a big Tecca fan though too. But I mean, I don't know. That's more like pop to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like melodic pop, poppy rap, kind
Right,
of. Yeah,
right.
for sure.
So it's more along those lines than, you know,
Yeah.
trap rap.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. 100%. Like I feel like this day and age, bro, if it's not at least somewhat melodic, then I really don't want to listen to it unless I'm in the gym. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and I don't go to the gym too much, brother, so we don't we don't got very good odds of listening to that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I feel that, man. Yo, so let me ask you about somebody that is an Orlando native. or I believe they're an Orlando native, but they came up in Orlando that I was listening to for a while. Let me ask you about John Young.
Oh man, first off, I hate when they talk about the goats of the city and they don't include this guy because
Straight up,
I know growing up in this city, like that man was putting it on the map, bro. Like
for real.
to me, it was the biggest inspiration because one, he was doing like melodic rap. Two, he's
Yeah.
his biggest song was this song right here for the city I love. Like, bro, this man put it on the map, dog.
Yeah,
And I've always had the utmost respect for him.
me
The
too.
craziest part is when I had that EP start blowing up, he reached out to me and he was like, bro. I said, bro. He's like, can you hop on a record for me? And I said,
What?
absolutely, bro. Like, what? I was hype as shit. I'm telling my brother, I'm telling everybody, like, bro, John Young just hit me up for a verse, dog. Like, they're like, he still makes music? I'm like, I don't give a fuck what he does. This
Right.
shit's legendary to me, bro. So,
Hell
like,
yeah.
boom, we did a record and it went crazy. Like, bro, the first, it did like 50,000 in the first week or something on YouTube. Like, this
What?
man still gets numbers, bro.
For
Like,
sure.
constantly. So, I think, John Young's like top four all time out of Orlando for sure, bro.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I remember being a young kid and my brother showing me his shit. And then I remember, bro, being on the school bus, on my way listening to it, to and from school. And bro, like, you're right. He was really like one of the first, like, he really had that melodic rap going on. And I was just like, this is dope, bro.
It's nuts, bro. Like, man, and I remember being a kid and I ran into him at West Oaks Mall, probably like 12 years old. I ran into him
What?
at West Oaks Mall and like got a picture with him and shit. Like, you know what I mean? And I remember DMing him like freshman year of high school, like, bro, how do I get in the studio with you? Not knowing anything about the business. You're just a kid. But like it's crazy that that full circle moment is like nuts, bro.
It really is, man. And shout out John Young. If you ever see this, you got two fans who you inspired right here talking about you, bro.
Facts, dog. Goat.
And and all your inspiring music. And I just want to say that I would love to get you on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? If you're ever trying to do it, I'd
Hey,
love to
let's
get
set
your
it up.
story. Bro, let's set it up because I feel like the city kind of needs that. Honestly, I was kind of looking for that interview, like a John Young interview, like on YouTube and stuff,
I
and I
don't
could
see it.
not find one.
I was, we'll talk about it after this, but like
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
like send me that and I'll send it to him and we'll definitely make that happen. Cause you're right,
Bad
bro.
man. I would love that, man. I would love that. All right, so moving on. Your music has a distinct melodic vibe. How do you describe your sound to somebody who hasn't heard you?
I think, it would have to be like a Caribbean melodic R&B guy,
Yep,
maybe. I think I would say that, like those three, because no matter what I'm on, it's very melodic. There's a
for
lot
sure.
of Caribbean influence to what I do, and most of the shit I do is R&B. So I would say those three.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that description. And I also want to preface when he says R&B, he's talking about the new R&B, not the old
Yeah,
R&B.
yeah.
You,
Not 80
you,
beats per minute.
no, no, you got, bro, your voice, and when you go high, it's like the weekend or something, bro. Like you could really do it.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
For some reason, I get the white Tory lanes on the internet,
The white
and I
Tory Lanes.
don't. I fight it every time, but like the people around me are starting to like embrace that. They're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, man, you should just run with it," and I'm like, "Absolutely not. He's in jail for possibly shooting a woman's foot. We're not doing that."
Right, right. That's funny. He does have some pop choruses though that are out of this world. So I mean, I guess it's a
For
compliment in that
sure.
regard. So,
I take it as a compliment, but also I just, I just worked
yeah.
really hard on being me. So
Yeah. No, for sure, man. You have a
rather
very
just rather
distinct,
just be
very
me.
distinct sound. Yeah, for sure. 100%. 100%. What's one of the most difficult things about being an artist that people may not know?
Man, I think it's all the behind the scenes, bro. I think it's, posting. I'm terrible at social media. I honestly hate social media. Um, I think it's everything that you have to do other than creating music. You gotta, for somebody that's in my shoes or at my level, everything has to be done. You have to register BMI. You have to do all of, 10 steps to drop one record before you even get to content. And,
Right.
a lot of my stuff is liable to be synced. So I got to make sure that everybody's taken care of on the paperwork. So if we do hit something, oh, everybody's getting paid correctly. It's like everything that you have to make sure is done properly
Right.
before you even get to promote the record. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then
for
it's
sure.
like promoting the record is draining too because you already spent so many hours on the record. Now it's like, bro, can you guys just listen to this and like enjoy it as everybody else does? Because I don't want to have to force feed you this. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's just the underground things they don't show you about being an artist, for
Yeah.
sure.
Promoting music, man, people don't understand. It's a hard thing to do. It's a
It,
hard thing
it's
to do, and
either
it costs money.
extremely hard. Exactly. I was gonna say it's either extremely hard or it's extremely expensive. There's no in
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
because like the the thing that people don't understand is like you'll send out something and like go like this. It's easy to go like it. But then when you say, "Hey, click this link, follow it, choose your streaming service, click that, then wait for your phone to load your Spotify or Apple Music, and then click play, and give me 2 minutes and 50 seconds of your time to hear my song." That's damn near impossible, brother. You can barely get me to answer a text message. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So it's
Straight up.
like people don't understand that. Yeah, no, no shit. We don't want to blow up your DMs with our links. We really don't. Like, I think that's the crazy thing is people think that artists just love doing that. No, we hate it. We
Yeah.
actually hate it. But like, we're battling an algorithm.
Yeah.
We're battling the guy that washes his face in Saratoga water and those memes, the 100 memes that came with that. And
Right.
we're just like, hey, here's my song, and you're trying to land in there. No, we have to send it to you directly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
if you're listening to this, understand that we hate sending you our links, but we have to.
That's a great point, man, because people will respond when you do send it directly to their DM.
Right. Hold
You
on,
know what
this
I mean?
thing
Oh,
just, there we go.
oh, okay. All right. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
my
found
freaking,
personally that some people they'll, yeah, they'll like a song if I drop it or whatever, but they won't take that extra step unless I do send it to them directly and ask them to go, "Hey, will you go, go on YouTube, check this out, drop me a comment, drop me a like." And you're right, I hate doing it, but if I don't do it, then they don't do it.
right. So it's like, you know what I mean? You have to force it upon people almost, and it sucks, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it is what it is, dude,
For sure.
until you're there.
What I'll say though is I'm not like super crazy with it. Like some artists, I feel like I have people that send me like every post they put out, dog, and I'm just like, listen, you can send me your good stuff, and we have that relationship, yeah, where I'll hook your stuff up, you hook me up, or I'll check you out, you check me out. But it's like, don't send me every post. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to. I'm
Dude,
not. I don't know.
you know what I hate is like, I don't know if I just have some type of like aura or something, but like dude, I'm in my room right now, bro. If I wasn't on here with you, I'd be playing PS5. So if
Right.
anybody thinks I'm really popping, just get that through your head. I'm not. But musically, I might be popping, but like in life, I'm not popping, dude. I'm not. But like, I hate when people tag you in something and it has nothing to do with you. So now it's just sitting on your tagged. And you're like, bro, if I untag myself, do I look like an a-hole? Because now it's on my profile. Like if somebody hits that third tag, you're on the profile. And it's
Right.
like,
Right.
bro, don't tag me in your things, dude.
Yeah.
I'll see it.
I have that
Just send
happen
it
to
to
me
me.
too.
I'm like, bro,
Man. I feel like it's more new artists who do that, and I think that maybe back in my day when I was younger, a young artist, maybe I had some of those same tendencies, but you're right. It's not a good look.
Yeah, dude. I get nervous about tagging people and things. Or you know what? You know what else? I hate like the invite to collaborate.
Yeah.
And you're like, but brother, like I'm not even in this. Like, why do
Right.
I want this to land on my page?
Right.
And now you
For
just look
sure.
like an a-hole.
Right, for sure. Now, I will say though, I do really like the collaboration thing on Instagram. It is pretty cool.
It's genius. Yeah, that's
It's
genius if you're
genius.
trying, if that's what you wanted to do, you know what I mean?
Right, right,
Like,
right, for
because
sure.
now your people see my post and my people
Yeah,
see yours, and they're like,
yeah,
oh, that's where that came from. Let me follow him.
right, for sure. But yeah, I can imagine. That's why, like, for me, when I'm posting something, and obviously the people are in it or part of it, but like I'll invite someone to collaborate, but if they don't accept it or whatever, I don't get upset about it because I'm like, maybe it's just not going with their theme or whatever. Like, I
Right,
just put the invite out there, and then if they don't want it, then it's fine.
right. Well, I
You
just
know.
press my people like, bro, accept this right now or else.
Nice. That's funny, man. So, kind of moving it on here. So, I saw that you have a partnership going on with the studio, and I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
about that.
So those were my guys, the cashiers, Uncle Mike and Lou. They've had this studio spot for a while, and Lou's kind of moving a different way. So Lou was like, "Hey, would you like to come in and be the other half of this?" And I said, "Of course I would. You guys are family. Let's do it." So, I mean, I don't want to say like technically half owner or anything like that. That's because that's what they built. I'm just here to improve and you know help them out. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
lit, man. I got keys to a studio now. I can just go whenever I want. I
bro,
can,
that's epic.
link up, things like that. So yeah, it's definitely it was on my goal list this year. So
Yeah,
I'm
for sure.
happy I knocked it out.
And what's the name of the studio so we can shout them out?
The cashiers.
Cashiers. Okay, Cashiers.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if I'll find the link too, and I'll put that in the description as well, so people can go
for
check that
sure.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to book, but for us it's just our holy grail of get away from the world. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we like to provide a space for dope artists that are taking it serious.
Right.
Um, but other than that, we're in there cooking, bro.
Okay. Okay. I see. Nice, man. That's epic. So that kind of moves me into the next question. Do you think that you're better in the studio or on stage?
People tell me that it's weird because it's making me talk about myself, and I'm not good at that. But I will say that artists that I've worked with in the studio have told me that I sound like I do on the songs.
Hmm.
So I think that's a compliment. Now,
Definitely.
so this year, another one of my goals was like booking my own shows, and making it profitable. And then, but also, I got the DJ and I got a live audio guy. So like building our practice and getting ready for bigger shows has been a main goal. So we're getting paid to practice. So, I'm bringing my live audio guy with me on the road, my DJ on the road, and we got a system figured out now to where like we're performing with live auto tune. So it's kind of fun because like you ever like heard a song and you do your own ad libs or you do your own thing to, somebody's song in the shower or some crap or,
Yeah.
driving in your car. Like I get to do that on stage now. So
Sure.
like if you're familiar with the records, I can play around with it and
Right.
let you all enjoy the record, but also create something crazy on top of it. So it's been fun. I would say probably better in the studio as we all because that's practice, and
Yeah.
live. You can't screw up live, so
Right.
I'd
For
say in the
sure.
studio, man.
Nice. Heck yeah, man. So, what advice would you give to upcoming artists who are trying to find their voice in today's crowded space?
I would say you have to really figure out why you started doing this and like what you heard that inspired you to make music. Like you have to really grip onto that and be that, like be who you want to be, but also like just record and put out your music. Like nowadays the world is literally an algorithm. Nobody's gonna hear it unless it's out. And you're not, you know, most people that are up and coming don't have $1,000 budget to release a record. Might not even be able to do a music video, but you can do a TikTok and all of a sudden it blows up and now you've got a million streams. You know what I mean? But that
Right.
doesn't happen unless you just put the record out. So, I think it's just tapping into who you are, who you want to be, recording and just releasing. That's the main thing.
Yeah. 100%. All right. So some of these next questions that I have, they're more as opposed to just about music. They're more, again, this is, the Hustle Coast podcast for hustlers, people who are disciplined, inspiration, all that. So, how do you stay focused when motivation fades and distractions set in?
I think I just think about the team. I rely on my team a lot, or it's I'm a big human interaction guy. So like my team is like family, my brother. So like if I'm cooked, I'm like, bro, let's just hang out, and then
Yeah,
I'll recharge by hanging out, and like we'll have an idea, and we're like, hey, let's revisit that one someday. You know what I mean? So like I
yeah,
rely a lot on like the people around me to stay
nice,
motivated. If
for
not,
sure.
I just step out, you know, go outside by myself and have a night of whatever exists and use that and write a story about that. So,
100%, man. Awesome. And how do you deal with fear and self doubt?
man, I think that's a tough one, man, because I don't have a lot of it. You know what I mean? Because I think what it is more so confidence. Like, there's probably nobody that respectfully, there's nobody that can tell me that I'm not good. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
just a self belief I have. I'm not sitting here saying I'm God, no. But I
Right.
know that the work that I put in and what I'm able to do, and there's not many people like that. So like I think it's just a confidence thing whenever you're facing it and like, okay, you're about to do a show with a couple hundred people who have no idea you're here or why you're here or who the hell you are. Doesn't matter, just go do what you know to do and that's be you. So I think it's just, self confidence and belief.
100%, man. And you said something too that I really resonated with, which is experience. When you get experience under your belt, when you've been in a situation where things went to hell and high water and you were still able to keep everything on track, then the next time you get in a situation like that, you're like, nah, man, I've seen this before. I'm still in control. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's all about experience, control,
Yeah,
understanding.
for
Those
sure.
that's what builds you for the future. Yeah.
For sure, man. How do you define success beyond money and titles?
I think it's defined by happiness. Like if you just you put out a record and then you're like, okay, that didn't do as well as that one, but I love that record. That made me happy. Or like, if you could wake up every day and you're like happy about where you're at, you're doing pretty well for yourself, no matter what the financial situation is. So,
Yeah,
it's a lot to battle in this world, bro. If
you're
you
right,
just
man.
can some way be straight and positive on your own self and your own journey, then you're good, bro.
For sure, man. 100%. So, when it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember about you and your journey? Your legacy, I guess you could say.
Man, I would say, like, I want people to be like, that dude took a lot of risk and he really laid it all on the line for everything. You know what I mean? Because even, like I said, I hate talking about myself because it's freaking weird, but like just being a white guy with dreads on the internet is already a tough thing to do. You know what I mean? I get a lot
Right.
of comments about that. So, like, I just want people to know that, like, or to say at the end of the day, like, yo, this guy, he was him the whole way. He took risk, whether it ends up paying off or not, and whoever's idea of what paying off is, that's all. That's all I care about, bro.
Yeah. 100%,
Guy
man.
went and did
And
it every
people,
day, man.
that's a fact, bro. And people respect that. You know what I mean? People respect somebody who's not scared to be themselves and to just bring that light, bro, and not have to change who they are for anybody else, bro. So I know I do. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I respect another individual like that, so
100%, man, 100%. All right, so for these next couple of questions here, these are not so much, they're more fun questions. I don't want to say silly, but more fun. So just kind of getting to know you for our viewers. So, what's one word your friends would use to describe you?
annoying.
All
Yep.
right, nice. All your work friends and your team, they're like, bro, slow down. All right, we want to take a break.
But I tend to think I'm funny as hell, and
Yeah,
a lot of people don't think that way sometimes, so it can get a little annoying, I'm sure.
right, right. I feel that. If your life were a movie, what would the title be?
Probably Crazy Train, bro. Just
Nice.
running rampant, dude. Running wild.
Absolutely, man. What are some of your favorite TV shows or movies?
Oh man, I'm not a big like movie guy, but if it's a comedy, I'll watch it. So like Step Brothers is my top movie of all time. I
Love it.
always bring this one up and people call me like people act like I'm stupid for saying this, but I think Paul Blart Mall Cop is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yo, Mall
I
Cop is
don't give a
epic.
shit. Dude, I think that is one of the best movies of all time. And you got people that think they're movie critics are like, what? And I'm like, I'm a
Yeah.
big comedy guy. So anything comedy is lit. Shows wise, if I'm on Netflix, it's usually a documentary.
Okay.
Those are like the only things that keep me locked in. I like Stranger Things. Stranger Things is really
Oh yeah.
dope.
Stranger Things is sick.
But that's pretty much it, man. I'm more of a sports guy than like movies and stuff.
Oh, nice. What sports do you really follow?
Everything. Everything but racquetball, man. I watch
Nice, man.
golf. I like soccer a lot. Like I'm not a big NBA guy now because it's just I don't know. It's seeming more entertainment than sports. You know what I mean? Love
Right.
football. Love college football. Can't wait till
Right.
fall gets here. So yeah,
Who's your team?
college football. I'm a Gator fan. NFL. I don't have a team, but I just enjoy watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
For
was
sure.
rooting for the Chiefs because I wanted them to be, you know, middle fingers to everybody in the world that hated them.
Yeah.
But I'm
Right.
like, I'm cool with the Eagles winning too. It didn't hurt my feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Do you play fantasy?
I do, and I suck very much.
Nice, man.
Not very
Nice.
good. I got the
I feel
worst
like,
luck in fantasy, bro.
yeah, everybody gets hurt.
Dude, like I'm in a Premier League fantasy right now, which is the English soccer. And like, bro, half of my team got hurt first 3 weeks in,
Oh
and I'm
no.
like, you're scrambling to pick up guys, like random guys off the bench. It's nuts, man. I got the worst
Yeah.
luck.
No, that's wild, man. I was playing fantasy, and the years that I put a lot of time into it and treated it like a job, I did well. But the guys I was playing with were so competitive that it just became like they were on everything like 24/7, and I was doing other stuff. So I was like, eventually I just
I
started
got real
getting
life
worked.
here, guys.
Yeah, yeah. So it did. I was like, all right, I gotta stop.
Bro,
For
it's
sure.
nuts, man. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice, man. Last one. What is your dream vacation?
So it's funny, being from Florida, I hate the heat and I don't like the beach because I get sunburned. So like I
Mm,
really want to do like one of those cabin snow trips at like a
mm,
skiing resort or something. I think that's lit to me, bro. Like the jacuzzi on the balcony in the snow. That's where I'm
yeah.
trying to go.
Oh, that sounds nice, man.
I
That
hate the
sounds nice.
beach, dude.
Yeah, I feel that, bro. 100%. All right, cool. So, what's next for you? Any upcoming projects, collaborations, or shows that you're excited about that you want to tell the people?
Working on a bunch of stuff. For me, it's difficult because like I got a lot of catalogs, so like I could go drop a EP right now and like if I wanted, or do whatever I want really. I'm about to drop a single next Friday, so when this comes out, it'll already be out. That's called
Nice.
"Come Get Me." We worked on that record for 2 years, Me and my boy Dev. So I'm
Wow.
really excited about that one. I
Nice.
think for the summer, I'm probably just gonna drop a lot.
Yeah.
I got a big record coming out May 18th with a guy named Craigie T, who was in TOK from Jamaica. They had a massive record back in the day. So hype on that. That's another legend feature.
Yeah, man, that's
Um,
crazy.
our record's coming in May. I'm really just gonna
Yeah,
overload this summer.
bro.
More sync placements, more stuff like that. So
Bro, I think for our record, I think I'm gonna drop it on May 20th when this interview drops.
that would be a good idea. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll just
Like, hey, we just did an interview, but also
yeah, yeah, exactly. Go check out both of these things
facts, bro.
for sure, bro. Any other shout outs that you want to give to anybody else? Mentors, inspirations, team?
Man, I'd say, shout out to my brothers, my brother Locks, my brother Mike, Dev, Julio, Jovan. These are all guys that make it happen for me right now. Shout out to my bro SB Killa, who's a legendary producer, but he always gives me every opportunity he can. Um, yeah, man, just the team, man. Everybody that's grinding, bro.
No, for
Shout
sure,
out to
man. That's
yourself
awesome.
too, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Like I said, bro, I appreciate you coming on, man, and hearing all about your story. You've got a great one, very inspiring. So lastly, let's just kind of tell people where can they go to connect with you and to find you. What are your socials and all that?
Everything is Abeck music, all one word, Abeck music. If you Google that, you'll see everything as well. All the socials and all the streaming links. So make it real easy. Just Abeck music everywhere. Something's gonna pop up for sure.
100%, man. Well, again, Abeck, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I want to thank you again for coming on the Hustle Coast podcast and sharing an amazing story. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in and make sure to check out the next episode of the Hustle Coast podcast. Other than that, have a great rest of your night.
Won't you stay with me?